Mission complete.
You dare to face a goddess.
Egyptian spirituality is not based on the over 2,000 netters which once the Greek interpreted the ancient Egyptian religion were called the gods. The Greeks worshipped their gods. The layman Egyptians worshipped what they believed were the gods. However, the more you look into ancient Egyptian spirituality, every neter, which is the ancient Egyptian word for God, meaning nature or divine nature, neter, is actually a body of information or a personified concept.
For the most beautiful one.
So everything that is represented by a netter is to be known as knowledge, part of the duat, hence that's where the netters live, in the duat, because each netter is a personified body of knowledge. And ancient Egyptian spirituality, in knowing each god, is to know each personification of a concept. So that is the endeavor, not to know the name of the god, to worship them.
May my beauty blind you.
It is actually to understand the concept. For example, the concept of Horus, which is the Greek word for Heru, is so huge that we need to make an entire video about each netter, because the concept is so huge to understand around it. Horus is not just worshipping a falcon-headed pharaoh protecting sun rising deity.
My grace is eternal.
Heru, related to the Sphinx, Heru and Maket, the entire language of ancient Egyptian needs to be understood to piece together the level of their spiritual knowledge to get the picture. And it requires so much more, and actually not at all worshipping any gods. Going through the 9 parts of the completed soul, which are the Ke-Peru. Kepri means body of the pharaoh. Pri, my pharaoh. Pera, pharaoh. Ke-Peru, ending in U for plural. Per, pharaoh. K, body. These are the 9 bodies of the completed soul. And they are not just to be noted in a nonchalant way of counting them and thinking, yes, there's 9 of them. They match up to the rainbow colors and therefore align with the chakras, and voila, that's a human. No, each one is so profoundly in depth. The concept of them is so huge that we need to expand our consciousness and our level of intelligence just to understand, to get to the antediluvian level of human spirituality. Because just knowing each one by name and brief description and hieroglyph isn't enough to comprehend. Egyptian spirituality is a high level of intelligence and comprehension that humanity does not yet demonstrate. The level of comprehension we need to have of the spiritual existence. We need to develop this, and the way that we start with it is by studying and increasing our intelligence and comprehension, and therefore consciousness. That is how we increase our level of spirituality. Because ancient Egyptian is the language of the gods. Medu Neteru. Du, knowledge. Neteru, gods, natures. It is the language of the gods, ancient Egyptian language. It is divine language. Yes, there are gods because humans become archified, deified, theosis. We become angelified gods. We dwell with the gods. It's just that Egyptian spirituality had nothing the heck to do with the layman's idea of worshipping gods. It was actually the most advanced system of intelligence. And that is what consciousness and spirituality is. SHUYET, shadow. The hieroglyph is a feathered shading fan, which means preserved. The shadow of the soul or a person is a part of a person, a part of their soul. SHUYET, the shadow. But it means in the shadow things are preserved and protected. The shadow is protected from perishing from the sun. It is part of a person's identity. Things left in the sun in the ancient world would perish. The feathered shading fan provides shade or shadow, and it is therefore indicating what is protected and preserved. Anything to do with shadow means that that part of the soul is preserved. Ka. Important to remember with Egyptian language that the way we see it today is phonetically preserved by Arabic and Hebrew predominantly. Ka can be spelt in a number of ways, K-A, K-H-A. Either way, the letters come from the original hieroglyph, which is a fish, and all we are trying to do with the letters is give the sound of the hieroglyph. That's why it is not a pedantics of spelling in any language, whether it be Arabic, Hebrew, or English, because either one is just letters representing a sound, a phoneme, the smallest part of the word, the sounds. But we look at the original as a hieroglyph, it is a fish. The fish is representing the physical body, the car or the cat, later represented by the Christian fish, which comes from the original symbol that originated in Egypt in the Osirian temple of Osiris. The cat or ka, the body, the physical body, is part of a person's soul. The ka, with the two raised arms and open hands, is part of Heka, which means the collective ka. Ka is a part of a person's soul. Ka is the force or double of a person. It is the force, the animating force, as in Jedi Masters, the force. That is Ka. Ka is the force. It is the double of a person, which can inhabit statues, images, the body, of course. It is Ka that leaves the body when a person dies. Their life force leaves their car leaves their cat.
Wake up.
Ending with T indicates feminine for cat. The ka is one's life force that inhabits a person's body, cat, every lifetime. Every life that a person has had, it is their double that comes again and again. For reincarnation, it is the ka, it is the double.